I wanted to find the mean average of these 5 numbers, I would need to sum them together, which means add those 5 numbers together, and divide them by however many numbers there are present. So, if I were to apply the mean average formula to these 5 numbers, I would have to add them together, find the sum of those 5 numbers, and divide them or put them over however many numbers there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So I would get an answer of those two together would be 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. And 20 plus 9 is 29. So my numerator would be 29. My denominator would be 5. And because we know that a fraction is the same thing as a division, we can write that as 29 divided by 5. So there are different ways that we can express this mean average, because we have worked it out to be 29 over 5. We could perhaps leave it as an improper fraction, but if we were to work it out in our division, we would say 29 divided by 5. 5 fits into 29 5 times, with a remainder of 4. And that remainder of 4 will be our numerator if we were to convert it into a mixed number. So 5 is our whole number and 4 over 5. We can also then convert that into a decimal. So that would be 5.8 as a decimal. And just to show you how we can do that in our division as well, we can write 29.0 divided by 5. 29.0 divided by 5, we would still get an answer of 5 when we say 29 divided by 5. Instead of putting our remainder at the top, as we did here, we put our remainder there. So 5 into 40 gives us an answer of 8. So there we have it, is 5.8, which is the same as 5 and 4 over 5, which is the same as 29 over 5. So the mean average of the numbers 9, 5, 2, 3, and 10, we summed them together and then we divided them by 5 because that's how many numbers there are, and we got an answer of 5.8, or 5 and 4 over 5. If I wanted to find the median of these 5 numbers, I need to find the middlemost number. And in order to do that, I need to rewrite these numbers in ascending order, so from biggest to smallest. So we've got 2, this 2 is my smallest number, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so this one is quite a nice example because we've got an odd number of numbers, which means we will have a perfect middle number, which is 6. So the median of 8, 2, 7, 6, and 5 will be 6 because we've got 2 numbers on either side of our 6, which means 6 is our middle number. When we've got a slightly more tricky example, when we've got an even number of numbers, so 3, 1, 5, and 4. Let's rearrange these into ascending order. So we've got 1, 3, 4, and 5. So we can see that we will end up having 2 medians. So instead of giving 2 answers for your median, what we need to do is find the mean average of those 2 middle numbers. Okay, so remember we need to plus those 2 numbers together and divide them by 2 because there are 2 of them, and that gives us an answer of 7 over 2. So to be more accurate, let's do a division. 7.0 divided by 2 gives us 2 into 7 goes 3 times, and we just bring up our decimal point, and there's going to be a remainder of 1, and 2 into 10 goes 5 times, so we've got an answer of 3.5. So the median of 3, 1, 5, and 4 gives us an answer of 3.5. If I want to find the mode of these numbers, I need to find the number that appears the most. So we don't necessarily need to order all the numbers, although that would make it easier. So if we order these numbers, we've got 2, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 14, and 14. So as we can see, this makes it quite easy to see that 14 appears twice and 2 appears 3 times, which means that the mode for this group of numbers would be 2. If we have a look at another group of numbers, 12, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1, 7, and 10. I can again rewrite these numbers in ascending order. So I'll start with 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 7, 10, and 12. And as we can see, all the numbers appear once except for 7, which appears twice. So the mode for this group of numbers will be 7. If each number only appears once, then there will be no mode. So no mode if each number only appears once. If I wanted to find the range for this group of numbers, I need to subtract the lowest number from the highest number. So we find the difference between the highest and the lowest number. So we obviously need to identify the highest number. So we don't necessarily have to, but it just makes it a little bit more accurate for us to arrange these numbers in ascending order. And we therefore know that 25 is your highest number, 2 is your lowest number. So we say 25 minus 2, and that gives us an answer of 23. So the range of this group of numbers will be 23. If we have a look at another group of numbers, let's say 10, 13, 50, and 52, we can see that these are already arranged in ascending order, so we don't need to arrange them again. So we've got 10 as our lowest number and 52 is our highest number. So the range of this group of numbers would be 52 minus 10, and that gives us an answer of 42. If we have a look at these percentages, a question could be these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students achieved these particular results in a maths test. Let's find the mean of these results. Let's find the median of these results. Let's find the mode and the range. So these are your 4 types of averages. And if we first work out the mean of these numbers, we obviously need to sum them together. So it would be 68% plus 55 plus 72 plus 55 plus 81 plus 49. And we obviously need to put that over 6 because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 percentages or 6 students whose results we are having a look at. And if we were to sum all of those percentages together, we would get an answer of 380, and we then divide that by 6, and we would get an answer of 55%. So the mean average of these groups of percentages would be 55%. We now have a look at the median of these groups of numbers, this group of numbers, and what we obviously first need to do is arrange these numbers in ascending order. So let's see, 49 is our lowest percentage, so we've got 49, then we've got 55, we've got 55, we've got 68%, 72%, and 81%. So remember that the median is the middlemost number, so we need to kind of, let's use a different color, we need to cross out numbers on each side until we end up with our median. So because we've got an even number of numbers here, we need to add 55 and 68 together and then divide that by 2 because we are finding the mean average of those two numbers. So 55 plus 68 and then divided by 2 will give us an answer of 61.5%. If we now have a look at the mode of these groups of numbers, we need to find out which number or which percentage appears the most. And because we ordered the numbers, the percentages in ascending order when we're working with our medians, we can see that the percentage 55 appears the most. All the other percentages only appear once. So our mode, quite simply, will just be 55%. Okay, now the range, as we've learned, is the highest number minus the lowest number. So our highest percentage was 81 and our lowest percentage was 49. So if we work that out, we will get a range of 32%. So for this group of percentages, so the results of these students' maths tests would have been, you would have got a mean of 55%, a median of 61.5%, a mode of 55%, and a range of 32%. Brett has written 5 out of his 6 tests for the term. Each of his tests are out of 10. So Brett has received 6 out of 10 for his first test, 8 out of 10 for his second, then 7 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and 6 out of 10. Brett's dad has promised him that if he achieves a mean average of 7 out of 10 or 70% for all 6 tests in the term, Brett's dad will buy him a new cricket bat. So we know that Brett still has to write 1 test this term, and we are not yet sure of what that test result is going to be. So this is a slightly different example and way of working out and working with our means and our mean average. So what we need to work with is our mean average formula. So we know that the mean is equal to the sum of all our numbers divided by however many numbers there are, so the quantity of numbers that there are. So we have been given that our hope is to achieve 7 out of 10. So we're hoping that our mean is going to be 7. So we can plug that into our formula. Whereas usually we wouldn't have the mean, we would only have the sum and the number of numbers that there are, and we need to work out the mean. So we're working backwards a little bit now. So we've got the mean, which is 7. We're hoping to achieve 7. We've also got part of the sum. So we've got the first 5 numbers. We don't have the 6th number yet. Okay, that's what we're trying to work out. So let's look at the sum. Let's say that 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 plus 7 will give us 21. 21 plus 10 is 31. And 31 plus 6 is 37. So the sum of our first 5 numbers is 37, but we still need to add that question mark because we're not actually sure yet what that question mark is going to be. That's what we need to try and achieve. So then we know that there, at the end of the term, we are going to have written 6 tests. Okay, so that's going to be our number, our quantity, how many tests we've written. So now, what we need to try and solve for is this question mark, because that question mark means that is what Brett needs to achieve for his last test in order to achieve his goal of a mean average of 7 out of 10 for all his 6 tests. So that is what we need to look for. And how are we going to do that? Well, we need to work with what we've been given. So we know that 7 is going to be equal to 37 plus something, and that's over 6 or divided by 6. So 7 equals something divided by 6. Well, that's exactly the same as if we want to work out what our numerator is going to be, we need to multiply our denominator by this whole number here. So we say 7 multiplied by 6 will give us an answer of 42. So 42 will give us 37 plus our question mark. And in order to find out what our question mark is going to be, we say 42 minus 37, and that will give us our question mark. So 42 minus 37, work that out on the side. We need to borrow, and that's a 5, and then that's nothing. So we end up getting 5. So that tells us that our question mark is going to be equal to 5. So if we plug 5 in there, we would then be able to check that if 6 plus 8 plus 7 plus 10 plus 6 plus 5 would then give us an answer, our sum, that we then divide by 6, and then we would hopefully get an answer of 7. So if we plug 5 in here, 37 plus 5, we get an answer of 42, and 42 divided by 6 is equal to 7. And that's exactly what we hoped to find out.